Also developing this hour, a small plane attempting to land at a private strip in Green Oak Township ended up crashing into some trees. Take a look at this. It happened just before 1 this afternoon at 8 Mile and Rushton. New research from the University of Michigan shows pulse oximeters could misdiagnose Black patients at risk of heart failure. 24 hours ago, while families were playing at a splash pad on a beautiful afternoon, a man walked up and opened fire. The victims range from just 4 years old to 78, including a mother and her 2 children. I was telling you I was at the scene yesterday, and I spoke with a grandmother who grabbed her grandchildren and said, run. And she says, how am I going to explain this to them? What's your advice for talking about these kinds of topics? Michigan Attorney General Dana Nessel is once again pushing back against a proposed DTE rate hike. Nessel is accusing the energy company of spending lavishly on corporate jets for their CEOs and attempting to pass that cost on to customers. The rocket has landed. Good afternoon and thanks for joining us. I'm Kelly Vaughen. The 6th Rocket Mortgage Classic is underway. More than 150 golfers are playing in the event, and we have team coverage this afternoon. A lot of people who maybe haven't been Lions fans for the longest time, they might be jumping on the bandwagon. Are we okay with that? Is it the more the merrier, or should you have suffered with us?
Kelly, it beats the opposite where people were jumping off the bandwagon and not wanting to watch the Lions.
It's an entry-level job, but we want you to have, 3 years experience. Should that discourage people from applying? Because I remember that feeling so frustrating. A social media influencer from the UK has been virtually adopted by the city of Detroit, and now they want to give back. Oh no, I'm so scared.
I see you came prepared.
I've been training for this my whole life, Stacy. Okay, well now our producer, Drew, he'd like us to discuss whether we would keep the drugs, sell them, or turn them in. I told Drew we can't incriminate ourselves like that.
I don't know if I would recognize them, and I wouldn't know what to do with them.
That's probably what you should say on TV.
Is there a mom?
Hey everybody, I want to give you a breaking news update regarding a mass shooting. An EF2 tornado touchdown last night. Jury deliberations have begun in the Jennifer Crumbly trial. Any parents or caregivers out there have got an extremely important warning for you. Panic at the Michigan State Fair last night. A shooting in a parking lot, killing a 14-year-old boy and injuring another. Good evening, I'm Kelly Vaughen. Thank you for spending time with us tonight. Now, those shootings happened at the Suburban Collection Showplace in Novi just before 10 last night. Novi police say the violence is likely the result of an argument between 2 teens from other communities, which ended up outside the fair. Investigators say the 2 victims took an Uber from Detroit to Farmington Hills, then another rideshare to the fair. Police have not identified the suspect at this time. The State Fair closed early tonight and will again tomorrow for its final day. The crowds were not deterred today as thousands walked through the gates. Our L. Myers has the story from Suburban Collection Showplace in Novi. Well, it was a beautiful day to get outside. And Stacy, we're hoping this holds up for the holiday tomorrow. All right, thank you so much, Stacy. Protests have broken out across Israel tonight after the bodies of 6 more hostages were recovered. The country's military says they were killed by Hamas in Gaza. And one of those killed was a 23-year-old Israeli American. I spoke with his cousin, who lives here in Michigan, about what their family is going through. The Israeli military says the 6 hostages were killed just before rescue attempts were to be made.
I'd like to say I'm surprised. I'm not. I'm more numb than surprised.
Mort Meisner says he woke up to the news that his cousin was dead. Hirsch Goldberg Poland was captured in the October 7th attack at a music festival that ignited the war. The 23-year-old lost part of his arm in the attack.
He was such a selfless young man. He was hiding with others and trying to protect them. He picked up a live grenade and tried to toss it out and blew his hand off.
His parents have fought tirelessly for his release. Speaking at the Democratic National Convention last month, still holding out hope of his rescue.
Hirsch, if you can hear us, we love you. Stay strong.
Their entire family now heartbroken.
Here's what I know about his mother, grandmother, and great-grandparents. Amazingly, remarkably giving people. They won't rest until other hostages are released.
Tens of thousands of Israelis took to the streets in protest Sunday, demanding that Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu reach a ceasefire with Hamas and bring the remaining captives back home. President Biden issued a statement in part saying, "Make no mistake, Hamas leaders will pay for these crimes." Vice President Kamala Harris released a statement as well, saying, "Hamas is an evil terrorist organization. With these murders, Hamas has even more American blood on its hands." Israel's largest trade union is further pressuring their government by calling for a general strike on Monday, and it would be the first since that October 7th attack. And on your block now in Detroit, back to school for some students is now a little easier thanks to a Detroit Lion. Detroit Lions safety Brian Branch teamed up with Word in Action Church on the city's north side for a backpack giveaway. Branch, who was drafted by the Lions last year, gave away 100 backpacks and 12 signed footballs for students. All right, let's talk Detroit Tigers. The team has won 8 out of their last 10 games and on offense shown some signs of life lately, and they're doing it with the help of hits like this one from Riley Green.
This year. First pitch swing, Riley Green testing out right field. It is gone!
That's a 2-run shot for Riley Green, which put the Tigers ahead for a final score of 4-1. They take the series from the Red Sox over the weekend. The Tigers now sit just 4 games back for the last wild card spot. And the Michigan Wolverines kicked off their season at the Big House yesterday against Fresno State. As our Rachel Hotmeyer shares with us, it wasn't pretty, but it was a win. Coming up, new polling shows the race for the White House is nearly even. CBS News' Skylar Henry brings us up to date on the campaign trail.